back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is going to be our recaps for episode 2 and 3 of Rivals 2. My name is Zach. I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, hey, hey.
Best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good. It's, actually, you know what? I wasn't doing great because Paramount Plus is such a bad app overall. Like, everyone in our Slack group has talked about how awful it's been. Mm-hmm. We pay for an ad-free version, and then sometimes we just get full ads every 10 minutes or so. Mm-hmm. Luckily, that didn't happen today, but what did happen was we went to watch, and then the entire, like...
app.
It's like the entire, like, media library for Paramount Plus was just non-responsive, and it didn't work on the Xbox, and so... we pulled out the laptop, tried it on the laptop, and nothing would play on there. And so we had to wait like another hour, and then finally everything started working. So it's got a lot of good stuff on it. It's just the interface and the back end of it really sucks. So it was good up until about then.
Yeah. It's such a pain, though.
Yeah. It's I mean, I guess it's a double-edged sword. Like, we're lucky that we're able to watch these seasons now, but it's not the most fun. We did record, what day was it? Yeah, 2 days ago? What day?
I don't know.
We recorded 2 more episodes of our Survivor watch along for our Patreon exclusive Watching Heads podcast, which those will be dropping probably actually before this episode drops. One of those will come out. And so patreon.com/smashingheads podcast. We've been doing exclusive stuff on there for a long time. And I guess as of right now, this is our first official recording going into year 3, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty wild, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's
time flies when you're having a good time.
It's July 5th. We did ours on July 3rd.
Yeah.
Right before July 4th.
So 2 days ago was our anniversary.
Yeah, but we didn't record then, and we're recording now, and we realized the last time we recorded that we probably should have had a little bit more together for a 3-year anniversary. But it's been a real busy summer. Like, everyone's been gone, and
we're doing something almost every day. I have all kinds of stuff going on right now. Like, I'm never home.
That's what I meant by we all have a lot going on.
And so when we have a day off, you guys may be like me. You literally just want to do nothing. Mm-hmm. You just want to sit down, relax, take it easy, enjoy the day with nothing.
Do you take a bath?
I mean, I showered.
Yeah.
I haven't used I've got a big jacuzzi style tub. Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize that.
With the little jet things, Mm-hmm. So if I, really wanted to take advantage of my home, that would be it.
Yeah, take advantage of the home.
Yeah.
By taking a bath in your jacuzzi tub.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize that. Is that in the master?
That is it,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I don't hang out in there a lot, so.
Yeah. Well, you can.
I can?
You can.
Okay. I might
swing
by and take advantage of your house.
He would prefer for you to hang out in his bathroom.
Is that true?
There are a number of places in my house we could hang out. It's just me and my dog.
That's true.
You're good with your hands.
What does that mean in the context of what you just said?
Getting weirder.
Where were you going with that?
So I probably should have continued that statement because there was a thought. But having paused, I can understand where the listener may think, wait a minute. What's going on here?
Right now,
I'm thinking, wait a minute, what's going on here?
No, so I was going to make the point that you're good with your hands. I'm actually...
You made that point.
Yeah.
But
you made that one already.
I'm fixing up one of my spare bedrooms, and I could use your expertise.
Okay.
You could use his expertise and the good use of his hands in your
I
spare bedroom.
Just put things together. I could use a TV mounted.
I hate doing stuff like that just because it
I
scares
do too.
me.
But it's a smaller TV. It's not like
okay.
It's like a 45-inch TV.
That's not bad.
As long as you have the right wall anchors, you should be good. Unless you want to mount it into like studs or something, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I fixed your washer one time.
You did.
I fixed your hot water heater one time.
You did.
I remember both of these.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. It's just stuff you pick up on YouTube.
Yeah. There's been other things that we've done over there.
What else? I can't think of anything that like fixed over there.
I tried alligator one time in your living room.
Yeah. That would have been from our old pal Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
He used to be a really good cook.
It's not
I'm
anymore,
sure he still is.
Yeah.
I mean,
But, you know.
he was a really good cook, and so he would always be the one to cook or grill things anytime we got together, no matter whose house it was at.
But he lives in Las Vegas now, so we don't see him.
Yeah, so if
That's
you want
right.
to just ask any Chris you know in Vegas if he knows about the
Alligators.
alligators and the guys at Smashing Heads, if you find the right one, he'll know what you're talking about.
He will.
Well, does he know that we do this?
He knows about alligators, though. So he's
Yeah.
back. I know
Yeah.
half of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a 50-50 chance that you find the right Chris.
He moved before we started the podcast. Guys, a lot of stuff in our life has changed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, life moves on. You know, for all we know, he might be hanging out with TJ and Brandon.
That's true, yeah.
He
They're
is
all
in Vegas.
Yeah. He may have gotten his hair cut by Leroy when he was down there.
Who's now in Houston.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who now, Cam, she's a big tennis player now.
Oh, man, we need to see if they want to play with us
And she
sometime.
uses Diadem stuff, which is what you and Hannah use.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
So, yeah, shout out to if anybody else plays tennis, that's basically what we do in our free time. It's just
All of our free time.
I mean, it's an easy way to get together and be outside.
You
and-
can talk and joke and hang out and still get really good exercise in.
We're struggling finding a fourth
person.
though. A fourth we can really rely
count
on.
Well, we got one, but he's out of town right now. Then the other ones are not reliable at all. And then we have a newer guy for the fourth, but he's got some baggage with him.
Yeah. Yeah, we almost ran into some trouble the other night.
Yeah, and, you know, it is what guys. If you're in our area and you want to play doubles,
Preferably you know how to play and have a racket.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be ideal. So we do that a lot. Jake and I are going to be in some tournaments maybe at some point, but
Next month.
So you're more than welcome to come down and cheer us on.
yeah,
But you have to do it quietly because there are rules to tennis.
Right.
we're the bad
Even-
we're the bad boys of tennis.
Well, here's the thing.
The nipple boys of tennis.
Yeah.
if
There
you
are
will.
rules to playing tennis, but there are also rules to watching tennis as an audience member.
Nah,
So
we're basically the Bash Brothers.
Yeah. Get out of here.
okay.
We can adopt the third Bash Brother, like in that one movie. They brought the figure skater kid in as the honorary third. You could be the figure skater.
I don't know how to skate.
You don't
Anything. I can't ice skate or roller skate. I've tried.
Is that going to be a new shirt now?
No, but I did. Hey, I did tell Zach the other week, like 2 weeks ago. I said I wanted to learn how to skateboard because I feel like it would make me feel like I was cool.
Well, Zach was on his way to becoming the second coming of Chad Muska, but he quit.
Well, he tore his ankles up,
Doesn't know who that is.
but he's too old to skateboard now. I'm still
Tony Hawk's in his 50s and he's still
But
going.
Tony Hawk is an anomaly and a professional, and Zach has bad ankles, so he's too old to play.
Do you follow Tony Hawk on Twitter?
Yeah,
I
I
do not.
do.
He's a good follow.
I've been following him for years.
He's a good follow because no one recognizes him anywhere. And they're like, Hawk, hey, like Tony Hawk? And he's like, yes. And they're like, cool.
and
then-
or he'll run into people and they're like, "Hey, you kind of look like Tony Hawk," and he's like, "No way," and it's like a whole
they're
thing.
like, yeah, that's weird. And then they just go on.
And he just goes with it. It's real funny.
But also,
Pretty
he's
good.
doing like a farewell thing where he's like filming himself doing tricks for like the last time because it's putting his body through so much.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, shout out to Tony Hawk.
And his kid Riley Hawk.
No, I don't care about Riley.
But
as
we
much.
have a really good friend who's goes by the same name.
He was given the same name.
Yeah.
Wow.
You
Not
know, really?
they're not the
Oh,
same
I didn't
person
think
though.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, Tony Hawk's a big part of my childhood.
I want to learn how to skateboard so I look cool. I'm still young enough to pick it up.
I just told you.
I don't
want
want
to
do
fall
tricks.
down a lot.
I don't want to do tricks and stuff.
it doesn't matter.
I
You're
just
still
want
gonna
to
fall down a lot.
cruise.
You just want to
Everyone
ride
does.
all your houses you're showing on a skateboard.
I do. I really do.
Well,
I think it's so much faster than walking,
no,
and it's so much less energy.
that's not even really real.
I want to feel the breeze in my hair.
You get a convertible for that. Or a Camaro. or a hot
Or
rod.
both.
When we were in Hawaii, our rental car was a Camaro convertible.
It was both of those things.
You didn't know that?
I didn't.
You
I didn't go.
Yeah, that's true. You didn't go,
You
but
didn't
you
go.
also didn't know that. So, yeah, guys, we're gonna get. We decided.
This is a podcast about Tony Hawk and
No.
skateboarding and convertibles.
We decided that. I think Jake and I sat down and did the math on how many episodes are in Rivals 2, and if we did it week to week, one episode at a time, it was gonna end up being until like October for us to get through this.
That's so long.
Yes, and so we decided we're going to double up on these episodes. We did episode 1 as a standalone because it was an extra long one, and then there's an odd number of episodes in the season, so that made sense to kind of get started that way. So we're jumping in. We're doing episode 2 and 3 today, and then we'll go from there. We've done it before, but typically we would do one episode at a time. And then when they would announce a new season, we'd be like, oh, crap, we got to double up on episodes to get through it. But we don't want to have to do that this time.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys realize this is our 11th season to recap?
That's pretty wild, ain't it?
That is pretty wild.
Make a wish.
It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
See,
11. Not Make-A-Wish, like Make-A-Wish Foundation.
That's what I thought you meant.
Yeah.
I'm not a kid that is passing away unexpectedly.
Well, the last thing I want to make note of, because we referenced it, I think, on our Patreon pod, Watching Heads. We had played last week. Me and Han were on a team, and you were playing with this new guy we were playing with, and Han and I got our butts beat.
We did. It was like,
It's
it
bad.
was pretty pathetic.
I was convinced there was some sort of black magic or spell that was casted on us because it was crazy what was happening. And so I think on our Patreon pod that I said we're going to put redemption to the test.
We did.
And we did. And we came back with a vengeance. And
We hit some crazy shots I've never seen in my life.
yeah, fun games too.
They were
Long points.
The thing is, the guy that I was partnered with, because Jake and I are normally partners, but the guy I was partnered with hasn't played in years and has a pretty beat up old racket. Didn't even have a grip on it. I was like, hey, let me put a grip on that. And so it's all just whatever comes natural. And me and him just got in a groove that one night like 2 weeks ago, and then this last time they were close for the first while. It was like 4-4, and then the last two games were whatever. But we need a solid fourth person, like we said earlier.
Well, I'm happy to let everyone know redemption is real, and it's here.
It came,
Take advantage of it.
and it's here to stay.
Yeah,
Like your house, take advantage of it.
yeah.
So let's get into episode 2 of Rivals 2. I've already did my Paramount Plus sucks part, so I'm assuming because they're in Thailand and it can be just miserably hot in the like Southeast Asian countries. Everyone's sleeping in the living room because that's where the air conditioner is the best.
Well, I don't blame them.
Yeah, I don't think I could sleep in that room with that many people with all the lights on though. Could you do that?
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I can sleep just about anywhere. There's something else that happens later that I can't do. But this in
Pee
particular,
in the water.
I can't pee on command.
Was that what it was though?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know
I
that it was
agree
on
with that.
command, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I did like the water balloon attack. I thought that was fun. That's something I would love to be a part of one day, like an inside joke. In the middle of the night. What a great idea. Just like house shenanigans.
Han, for
We don't see fun things like that anymore.
$100, can you name the 6 ninjas?
No way. I can't even name all
CT,
of
Johnny
them.
Bananas, Teresa, Anastasia. Oh,
Yeah, you
there's-
got what
I'm
I got.
missing two more. I'm missing 2 more. Nani?
No.
Marlon. No.
You get
No.
5 incorrect guesses. There's one.
She did. She said Marlon too.
But then she said no before she finished his name,
Oh,
so
okay.
I won't count.
No, I
that.
knew it wasn't him.
This is riveting TV.
That no one can see.
Yeah.
Frank.
No.
You got 3 more incorrect guesses and $100
I
on the line.
honestly don't know who it is, but I know who it's not. If that makes sense.
That does not make sense.
Well, because we saw a lot of them like getting hit.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Zach's going to put a timer on his
Oh
phone.
no, hold on. I'm thinking.
'Cause you have to say
I have to
somebody.
remember who else was there.
Otherwise, all right,
who else is in this house?
you give her 15 seconds per.
Oh, that's hours.
15 seconds. 15 seconds starts now.
Jess.
No. 2 more incorrect guesses.
Oh,
Restart
this is
it.
stressful. This is
15
stressful.
seconds starts now. 13 seconds.
Oh. Is it another girl?
There's one boy and one girl. I'll give her
One
that.
boy, one girl. Okay.
You got 3 seconds. You're about
Hold
to
on.
lose a guess.
Hold on.
I
Hold
can't- I
on.
can't-
Hold on.
I can't
Hold
stop
on.
time.
Make it stop. Pause it.
That's
Pause it, because the
final.
more you talk, the less I can think.
You missed one. You got one guess left.
Who were the other girls in this house? Emily?
All right, you got one more incorrect guess. That's wrong.
Oh gosh.
You got 5 seconds.
Leroy.
I'm sorry, I told her wrong. It's 2 guys.
It didn't.
Sorry, I'll give you 2 more incorrect guesses, but you got 30. Give her 30 whole seconds, and that's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
It's
Leroy.
It's 2 guys. No,
Wes.
you got one more.
Okay.
How much time?
15 seconds, basically.
You got one more hand. $100 on the line.
Preston.
No.
Oh gosh.
10 seconds.
Night.
No.
Dang, who was it?
3 seconds.
Well, she also used all our guesses.
Yeah, I did.
Trey.
I almost said Trey.
It's Trey. You do not
But
get $100.
I kept thinking there's no way they did Trey because he's not sticking out. Like he doesn't look like he has any friends in the house.
I mean, he's won 2 dailies.
Yeah,
Well,
but
not-
that doesn't
not at
mean
this
he has
point.
friends in the house.
You know, him and Zach aren't really good friends.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Right after all the water balloons and all that, you kind of start getting the first glimpses of Sarah and Jordyn attracted to each other because they're lifting weights and she likes that he doesn't give up.
Yeah, well, you also just considering how much I've went to bat for her just in the 3 years we've been doing this, you glossed over how CT thinks Anastasia makes a good ninja.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I just
I was
skipped over that.
waiting for you
important.
to say that.
It's important.
I don't know if that's
That's
important.
important.
Well-
I won't allow it.
Yeah, he did tell her that she makes pretty good ninja. She agreed. And then DM says in a confessional that she really doesn't care about CT and Anastasia. She says it's whatever. But then CT comes to DM and tries to like sweet talk her, and then he's trying to get under her skin and like get in her head. It's just weird.
This is when he was kind of grimy.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
He's at peak hotness and just oozing everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like a volcano of pus.
Like when a snail leaves a trail.
Oh, that rhymed.
When it slimes away.
Oh, I thought you were going to keep it going.
Right.
well, in the kitchen, someone confronted CT about it was Trishelle, I think, about you had sex with Anastasia, and he was like, no, I did not.
Well, CT was just complaining to the house. Just whoever would listen, he was complaining about DM following him around, and anytime he tries to talk to any other girls in the house, that she just appears out of nowhere and like scares him away or whatever. And he's complaining about that. He's like, either tell the other girls to back off or you back off yourself. And then Frank and Trishelle kind of confront CT like, hey, didn't you sleep with Anastasia?
But Trishelle
Wants to stir the pot because that's how she is.
I hate that phrase.
I don't like when you say that,
Yeah.
man.
Just
I don't care. I don't care.
Not that you say it. I just hate that phrase in general now. It's been so overused about everything. Trishelle just wants to get in the middle of drama for no reason. And again, we see a lot
She's
with Trishelle
goofy.
later. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never liked Trishelle.
Well, to be fair, this was your introduction to Trishelle. Before we watched any of the other stuff she was on, we saw some of these episodes together, and you're like, I don't like her.
Yeah, I don't like her one bit. And then, CT keeps saying that he and Anastasia did not sleep together and that she was lying about that. And then I
feel like he's lying about that because I think even Wes said that they did.
No, he was lying about it. And then Anastasia says
we didn't
something.
see it.
Anastasia says something later in the episode about, she's like, I can't believe I hooked up with him. But for whatever reason, CT like calling Anastasia a liar and like saying it never happened. Like Frank got really upset about it.
Frank gets really upset very easily.
Yeah.
That's his big downfall.
always been
Johnny
a
did
gripe
say
of
he
mine
was
with him.
super emotional.
He
and
is.
that was
I
going to
think
be.
Frank would, that's always been his weakness is he gets way too invested and makes situations become a big like blow up and he gets too.
He takes everything personally.
It's just like everything becomes like such a huge mess for no reason. And, shout out to Knight. He does it a couple times. Not for what happens in the next episode, but for what happens in this episode. Just having a guy who's used to playing hockey that breaks up fights. He gets between Frank and CT. Later on in this episode, he gets between Anastasia and CT. And he's just in the middle of things, just breaking it up, not causing problems.
He's a fight breaker-upper.
Yeah. Now, I mean, he started one in the next episode, but
for this episode...
Good job.
He stopped the fights.
And, some people in our Slack group pointed out, and I had forgotten. I knew about the CT, like, kind of choking Marlon in the pool. But this season is very physical.
Yeah, everybody's fighting everybody.
And, like, there's no production, like, getting in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It's all just castmates. And I don't mind it because no one got hurt. It's all just people mostly just trying to prove that they're tougher than the other one. Even like Trishelle gets like Anissa's elbow in her face. And that's the next episode, I think. But Anissa's like, I'm not hitting her. And no one cares. No one does anything. And this was 2013, 2014. Like way after the whole like Brad and, Darrell incident where like, where they kind of took a step towards let's tone down the fighting.
Well, here's the thing. When Frank gets in CT's face, CT's not backing down, and Frank gets upset and shoves CT really hard. And did we not see something like that happen in one of the last two, like, modern day
Kayla pushed Melissa
seasons?
and they both got sent home.
No, in like, men. Like, one of the guys pushed another guy, and...
Josh pushed Devin this last season on Double Agents.
Yeah, and then TJ came in like the next day and was like, you cannot put your hands on another player or else you'll be sent home.
But in episode 1 of like Final Reckoning or something, like Kayla pushes Melissa or vice versa, they both go sent home, and then Cam and Kaylee become partners because of it. Like,
yeah.
So like, yeah, it's crazy how
serious they take it nowadays versus here.
But there's no fun nowadays.
I don't think that happened. I think he called out the general craziness that had happened in the house and was asking everybody to cool out.
Probably, because it got real heated that one night. And Fessy was upset, and Josh was upset, and
Fessy was upset the whole time.
Well, yeah. I mean, who cares? Also, speaking of who cares, Maria comes in, and nobody.
Literally nobody cared. And the cook was like, I'm the only one clapping for my new partner.
It's just, it's amazing how different she is back then, Maria.
Yeah, because like as soon as they announced her and like showed her coming out, they had confessionals of so many different people, and they were all like, "Oh, great, here she is."
I think that still is kind of the consensus, but I guess just as a viewer back then, you kind of had a soft spot for her because like, oh, everyone's teaming up on her, and she's the underdog, and then she went on to be kind of proven free agents in some other seasons. And I mean, now just watch it. Like I get very annoyed just seeing her on Instagram. But
I think at this point here at like Rivals 2, she had started making a bit of a name for herself because Cook even said she's like, I don't have a problem being partnered with Maria because she just came in second in the last Rivals, and she had
Laurel as her partner.
I know, but like there were even a handful of other people later on in this episode, or maybe it was the next episode, where they called her a pretty tough competitor, or called she and Cook together as one of the better or stronger teams in the female teams in the house.
I mean, the only team you could argue that is just on paper better than them is Emily and Paula.
They win every daily.
Yeah, who's killing it.
Yeah, they're absolutely killing it.
Yeah, Emily and Paula are dominating. For some reason, it doesn't have the wiki page for the challenge wiki for Maria just completely skips over Rivals 2 in the midst of seasons that she's done. So I'm gonna have to figure out what she's done at this point. Battle of the Exes. There's Rivals 2 finally. So she hasn't really proven much other than I guess her run with Laurel. She had Abram as a partner in Battle of the Exes. But that's a whole nother situation.
But regardless, was a significant upgrade
Over Naomi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
I don't think Naomi comes back, right? Like, she didn't come to another season after this.
unless she did. She either did X's with.
She did it with Leroy.
She did it with Leroy, but was that before or after this?
I think it was before. I think this was
Yeah.
her second season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kara is an upgrade for sure compared to Naomi. But the first daily did not go very well. It's called Triple X XXX Games, whatever you want to call it. Again, TJ is from the X Games.
They were pushing the Vin Diesel movie.
I don't think that's it.
No,
When did that?
Did you ever see that movie?
That
I
movie
did.
would have been out by then.
don't like that movie.
Really?
Yeah,
I never watched it. I don't know anything about it.
I never watched it. I don't care about Xander Cage or whatever his name is. These are type of dailies. These are kind of throwback dailies where they're just goofy. Like, you have to like saw the logs kind of in a way that's suggestive. You can't use your hands really.
It's risque.
And then whoever wins gets there's like 5 seconds of each. Like if you get first place, you start, and then second place is 5 seconds behind, and so on. Kara and Cook come in last for the first part, so not a good look right away. Oh, you know what? I skipped all the men first. The men go first. Duh. I was just thinking about Kara. So
Wes quits immediately.
Yeah,
Like didn't even start.
I knew it. Yeah, he's like, I don't care. There's no point because
He said there's no repercussions.
there
which
wasn't.
is not
and then
true.
Production's like, screw you guys. We're gonna make repercussions.
Yeah.
which they need to start doing again.
Yeah,
'cause
I agree.
When Double Agents or whatever the last season was called, they had a handful of guys or people who just would not do the dailies or like time out because it didn't matter. So again, it's a girls' elimination day. Wes quits. Preston and Knight win the first part, and then Preston quits before the second part starts.
Which was just stupid.
It was
Yeah,
stupid.
I mean,
Like,
if
he knew that they were going to be strapped together.
So why
before.
would you go through the first leg of that daily?
I don't know. He's like, I stuck to my laurels, and
What
Laurels?
that's what he said.
But what?
I don't know.
What laurels?
He didn't want to be near Knight's crotch, apparently. But he's 6'7". He would have been past it. He's a lot longer than Knight.
But just Knight's crotch in particular.
That's what it seems. That's what he said. Something along those lines.
In Preston's defense, Knight does seem kind of stinky.
Knight would arguably
Fair.
be one of
He
the
seems kind of grimy.
one
He
of the
seems like a
stinkier
BO
people
kind
on
of
the show.
guy.
Yes. Again, I don't have a problem with Preston necessarily saying that he didn't want to compete. I think it's just odd to do part one and win and then be like, now I'm done.
The weird thing is the laurels comment. I don't understand the laurels comment. Is it just that you don't like Knight?
I think it's that he doesn't like Knight. I think that's what it boiled down to, is that he just like, I don't want to be near him.
It just turned into more of a weird sort of statement.
It almost came off as like a morality issue.
Yeah, and
it wasn't that.
Yeah,
I think
I
he just
didn't
thinks Knight's
understand.
gross.
Yeah, which is fine. If that's the case,
Yeah.
whatever.
I kind of don't blame him for thinking that.
No, Knight's just thinking through all of the cast. I'd say Knight is probably one of the grosser people. Like just as far as he's a hockey player, he probably smells bad. Like he doesn't care. He seems like that type of guy.
If we have any hockey players listening, they're going to be really upset with you.
I know of one specific hockey player that listens.
Smelly?
No, he wasn't. He was my roommate for a while. So shout out to non-smelly hockey players. So CT and Knight just grab each other, and they're like, "Screw you guys! Even if we don't have a harness, we're gonna run this, and we're not on the same team." It's all good and fun until they get to the end, and then TJ sits them down. But Zach and Trey win again. Like, I mean, they won the first daily. They won this one. They don't seem to like each other, but I guess Trey's small enough and Zach is at his peak of hugeness that...
His peak Thorness.
Yeah, so he can just carry basically whoever. Then we get to the girls. Cook and Kara are in last place after round one again, like you kind of expected. Nani and John A, I think, win round one. Is that right?
That's right.
And then like Nany just can't pick up Janae. Like they can't get off the ground. And then it just kind of leads way to Emily and Paula just running away with it.
Well, I mean, this is a more difficult ask than people may realize.
It's a lot of strength.
Because if you're not in the gym regularly, this is very hard.
Yeah, I mean, you're a lot of them, like Nany and Janae are probably roughly the same size at this point, and so like that's like lifting yourself up, not counting like the extremities like flailing around and throwing you off balance and all that. There were some people that had it easier than others. Like Teresa had Jasmine. Jasmine's like 90 pounds. She's like the smallest girl there.
She really is like putting on a fanny pack.
Yeah, and Emily is so strong that she doesn't care that Paul, like however big Paula is, like she's gonna move her around. Anissa just curls up Diem and just runs through the whole thing. And again, but Emily, I'd say by far like the best shape. Like on the like probably on the show, one of them, but definitely the best in shape like female on the show
on this season.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely.
Maybe ever. I mean, you could argue Kara.
I could see that.
Just because Kara works out so much now, but I mean, Emily is just she's got huge legs that can like muscle through everything, and they just kill it. And so the same exact teams that won the first daily win the second daily. And so it's not looking great for anyone else.
During the women's heat, towards the end of that, did anybody else notice CT was suddenly wearing Diem's hat while watching?
No.
She had on a blue cap while she was watching the guys' heat.
I figured that was someone else's that she was just wearing.
I don't know. She was wearing it.
It
was a bright blue cap.
Yeah.
She was wearing it. And then they showed her and Anissa at the last leg of the women's heat, and then it cut to a bunch of guys yelling or whatever, and then CT's wearing the exact same hat.
I wonder if it was CT's hat and then he took it off for the first one, and then I mean I don't know. It could be. That seems like more of a hat like CT would wear than Diem.
Maybe, I don't know, but they're sharing hats.
They did show Jess just, according to Anastasia, become quote a mighty Hulk machine. And lift Anastasia up over herself, but then they still got last place.
Yeah. Jake, has anybody ever called you that?
Hulk machine?
A mighty Hulk machine.
Mighty Hulk. Yeah.
You know how Hulk's a machine?
Mm-hmm.
A mighty Hulk machine.
Do you remember Mighty Machines? Or no, micro. That's Micro Machines.
I thought I heard you say it out on the court the other night after we beat y'all real bad. I heard
right
you
to
say to your
ground.
teammate, God, he's a mighty Hulk machine.
Yeah. I hadn't watched this episode in a few years, but I knew that stuck with me for...
It's a general compliment.
Yeah, Anastasia,
It is. You're right.
she sticks with you, you know?
Yes, she does.
So CT and Wes and then Knight and Preston find out from TJ that they're going to have a penalty at the next daily. Deserved.
I so support that.
Yeah, that's fine. Because if not, like, this is only the second daily, and they figured out that there's no repercussions if it's not a guys or girls elimination, vice
Except
versa.
now there is.
Yeah. So they go to deliberation. It's easy to throw Cook and Kara in, and that's the vote because, like, who cares? Like, Cook just lost her partner. Kara just got in here. No one likes her anyway. And, they think that they can take out Jess and Anissa, which, yeah.
Anastasia.
I said Anissa. That's my fault. Anastasia sticks with you, but...
yes.
Anissa's more synonymous with the challenge.
Yeah.
This is when I thought that Trishelle was about to quit because it cut to Sarah and her having this big conversation about, you promise you're going to give it your all. And I was like, is this the episode that she quits in? And it's not, but good foreshadowing from production there.
CT confronts Diem again, asking why she won't step up and tell other girls to back up off of him. And it's just more teasing.
I didn't
my heartstrings.
That's just a byline throughout this whole season that I just didn't even write down when it happens.
Will they, won't they?
That's been like 8 years, CT and Diem, will they, won't they? But Teresa does tell Anastasia all about the background between CT and Diem because apparently she just had no idea.
Yeah, because like I think she knew that CT and Diem had something, but she didn't know like the extent of it or like their history together. And then once she hears it, she suddenly says that she regrets getting involved with him. And then she starts crying and she's like, if I had known, I would have never. And then she pauses and said, I didn't mean to interfere. And that was like the final nail in the coffin of Anastasia and CT, because she's like, I hate him now.
Well, I think he was kind of done with her too.
Yeah, he was, but it wasn't like she had to be done too.
I mean, Teresa compared him to Romeo and Juliet, not Anastasia, but
CT and
No,
Dianne.
she has her own love story. It's fine.
yeah. What's her love story? What's Anastasia's love story? Someone's still shooting fireworks, and it is
10:46
on July 5th.
Anastasia's love story.
Is it Free Willy?
One for the ages.
No, it's probably more of a pretty woman type love story.
So she's a prostitute, and she's going to find a rich guy.
She deserves the best.
Okay.
So that could be like
okay.
Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Not take the prostitution out.
I'm not calling her a prostitute or anything that can be associated with a prostitute. I'm saying maybe she hasn't always thought the best of herself.
Okay.
She needs someone to come along and remind her
She needs a
of
Richard
who
Gere.
she is. She needs an identity shift.
Do you?
And by the way, we put out a call
Yeah.
to find her, and no one knows where
Yeah.
she is on social media. And some people in our Slack group talked about it, and they were like, "Yeah, apparently the CT stands like went really hard after her during this, and she like shut everything down." And somebody said something. There was some suicidal stuff in there. That's how bad it got. And so, I was like, "That's strange to us." Not that happened, but that like we've been doing this for 3 years now.
and we never knew.
Well, no, that we've never. I don't think we've ever run across like a CT stand thing.
No.
Where do they mostly reside?
Do you think that they think the CT stands think that we're also CT stands because we are named after one of his most infamous blow-ups?
We all like CT. I mean, we're all here for him. We're not for harassing though.
No.
And again, we had people in our Slack group on it, and
I spent 2 days
no one knows where she is.
trying to find her social media, and I couldn't come up with anything. I spent 2 days. I didn't get any work done.
Again, if anybody can find it, Jake will give you a selfie or $20, which in his mind are the equivalent.
Yeah.
And so we're looking for it. She hates CT now. She slaps him the next day multiple times.
Like, she starts throwing hands and screaming at him. And he thought,
thinks it's funny.
he
Like,
said,
it's
it's
not
kind of
hard.
funny. Let's see how far this goes.
Knight gets in the middle of it again and is breaking things up.
And here's where I had the question: how did she not get kicked out for fighting? Because
It's like production wasn't even there.
yeah, like I don't understand, because it's one thing to let her get in the one good slap, but she went after him and hit him like crazy. And he even said he like got lit up. And
yeah,
then
but he was joking.
I
Like,
know, but even Knight said that she was like throwing
She
her
kicked him in the
hands.
balls a couple of times.
Yeah, like
Here-
she
here's,
was like
like,
kicking and screaming.
CT was never in.
It wasn't this was not a
He w-
fight you would see people go home for.
No, because like he was.
This was not CT chasing Adam around the
No,
house.
CT
No,
wasn't
it
upset.
wasn't.
He was laughing and smiling the whole time. He wasn't in any danger from her, and he wasn't going to retaliate. Like, there are nuances in this one that are not there in every other one.
I know.
It is a double standard.
Did you want her to go home?
It's not that. It's just it was very much double standard, because I guess I'm just so used to these more recent seasons where if you put your hands on another competitor, you're out.
I don't think this is a double standard.
I think it's just there was no real risk of like anything happening.
Well, I think if he had jokingly been hitting her,
Well, yes.
Well,
it'd be so there's your double standard.
I mean, again, like
One of these guys could not hit one of these girls and it be laughed off.
no,
Exactly.
that happened in the real world in like 1994. A guy slapped a girl as she got in a taxi, and it's like infamous. And
Double standard.
but it also that was not a. I'm hitting him or even slapping him on my entire might.
I think
Right.
she was,
I
because
don't
she
think
was
so.
screaming profanities at him.
I mean, if that is, then man, she's,
I
she
mean,
promised
she's-
to come back bolt up, but
No. But I mean, like, look at how thin she is. I do think that she was hitting him with all her might. She just didn't have much might.
I just felt like she was pissed off, and she was just trying to hit him to get him out of there. Again, like, it is a double standard, but at the same time, like, nobody was in any danger. He was
but
like,
it's a double standard. And, like, I'm one that fully believes if a woman is going to hit a man, she should at least have some expectation to get hit back.
So you wanted CT to hit her?
No, I did not want him to hit her. I think you can't hit someone and think that you're not going to get hit back. That's not how it works.
2013 was a different time.
It was.
Okay. We get to the elimination after the fight, if you want to call it that. And it's called hanging by a thread. And basically you got two people on each team up in this like metal square or rectangle, and they have to hang upside down by their knees and use a little handsaw to cut the rope of the opponent, and whoever falls in the water first wins. I mean, whoever falls in the water first loses. The other team wins. And right before they get up there to get in their seats, TJ explains the rules, and Anastasia's pumped, and she goes, boop. And then that's it.
She said boop.
She went boop, like, got it. And I didn't know if that's a thing.
That's her low point on this season.
Just saying boop.
Yeah.
That's her low point,
That's
not
her
what's
low
about
point.
to happen.
Yes, that is her low point.
Well, after she gets up there, she immediately says, "I feel like I'm gonna faint." And
yeah, you can't hate on what happened to her because you get in these weird coughing fits, and that is the equivalent. Because you can't, your body just, you got this coughing fit. She had a panic attack for whatever reason, right? When your body starts doing that sort of thing, you can't just say off button. Okay, I'm good. You can't. It's not an off button you can hit. If you got the coughing fits, you just like it's the funniest thing.
I think that's different because if I were in her place,
double standard.
No, it's not a double standard because if it were just a coughing fit, she could have coughed while she was up there and then started. But no, she had to get down.
But context because he's trying to start the podcast and you're just coughing and we can't. Fair.
It is true.
Everything has context. Everything's relative.
Well,
pain is relative.
Okay.
Pain is weakness leaving the body.
I think this is absolutely psychological. I think she was afraid to go into elimination, and that fear just sent her into a tizzy.
You know what's the ultimate, like, screw you guys, I'm not scared of you, is to pee in the water that you might fall into. Like,
yeah.
Cook and Kara weren't worried about them, and
Cook didn't care at all.
She's just peeing, and then somebody was like, "You pissing right now?" She's like, "Yep."
Well, she did in front of everybody.
Well,
Because
yeah.
the thing was, like,
I know it was like Wes or somebody from the sidelines yelled that.
Because Anastasia had taken such a long time, and because I think we read this somewhere, or Cook or Kara one had like a statement about it. They wouldn't let Kara and Cook come down while Anastasia and Jess were down, and so they were apparently up there for a long time, and Cook had to pee, and she's like, I just can't hold it any longer.
This is what Jake was talking about. He couldn't. I don't think I could have peed in front of all those people.
I can't. If I'm in a public restroom and I've even just got I'm at a stall, right? And someone's even just behind me washing their hands. It just won't
It's
go.
a psychological thing.
It won't go. And the minute the door closes when they walk out, boom. It's just like a stream.
That's weird.
No, I get it.
I just, and it's
I
not
think-
because I'm like nervous about it or there's some sort of like confidence issue. I can't pee.
You have to be confident when you pee.
Well,
He's like, I am a mighty Hulk machine.
listen, it's a men thing. Men size up each other's wieners.
What?
That's dude. No, that's been a thing since I was in high school.
Don't look at me.
Yeah, like
Not if you go in a stall, unless you're going in a stall with
like
somebody.
the
Which, if you're doing that, then you're probably doing other things.
The stalls that don't have like the dividers, like the FedEx Forum ain't got them. Right.
So there's just
you're
open
talking about
open
for the
toilets.
urinals.
Yes,
I'm talking
the
about
urinals.
toilets.
I don't
where
use
you
I don't
sit
use
down.
the urinals.
The urinals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, urinals
No.
that don't have any walls are like asinine.
How do you not look?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
No, I even like stalls and stuff in the U.S. like they have those huge cracks and they're like it's weird.
I hate that.
It is weird. Like because in like
that.
other countries that's not a thing.
Even in Hawaii, when we went to Hawaii, as soon as we got off our last plane, it was at the airport. I had to pee, and I went into this little bathroom, and there were 3 gigantic stalls. Like you could fit like 10 people in each stall. No gaps anywhere. Not even like at the bottom with your feet, not on the sides of the doors.
Yeah.
Totally flush everywhere. And it was amazing. And I'd never seen anything so glorious.
Amsterdam bathrooms saved my life one time because they're like, it's just your own room. And like,
that's the dream.
In other countries, it's not. It's the U.S. is
Why
weird.
can't the U.S. get it? Why can we not catch up?
And I guess they don't want people to. I don't know. They're worried about
they
homeless
want
people
the
living
citizens,
in there or something. I don't know.
They want our citizens to feel like visually violated when we pee.
I'm with Jake. If there's people around now, if it's a big bathroom where there's a lot of people,
you just have to.
I can go in a stall and just it takes a second, but I got to kind of like drown everything out, and then I can go.
You have to get zen.
But if it's like you and like one other guy, and he's in there going like, like it's like get out of here, buddy.
Have you ever been in a bathroom like that?
Yeah.
That's why I hate, like, you know, I don't know, like, if we go to if we're at, like, I don't know, like we're at church together or something, and I'm going there to pee, and a guy comes in there that I know, and he's like, hey, what's up, bud? How's it been?
Your wiener?
I'm just not going to pee the whole time he's there. So I just have to stand there until he leaves.
Yeah, I know.
It's just not going to happen.
I know where all the secret private bathrooms are, so.
I do, too.
I take advantage of it.
Yeah.
No, I think for Cook, she probably doesn't care, but 2, if you've been holding it long enough and you have to go bad enough, I think you can just go, I can do that.
I think I would explode internally.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to pee my pants.
Yeah, I think that would be a problem for me
Yeah.
too.
Like if I'm on a plane, right?
Yeah.
Like I
hope you don't pee on yourself on a plane.
One time I was on a plane and I was like 10 and we hit some bumps and my Coke spilled all over my like pants.
Genitals.
Well, yeah, technically, but I didn't need to get into all that. But it was all over my pants, and so I had to get up, and I had to go to the bathroom after that, and so I go to the back. It wasn't a full plane, and there's someone in the bathroom, and so this flight attendant was back there with me, and she's like, "Just sit down in the seat back here until this guy gets out." And I was like, "Okay." And then she looks at me, and there's stuff, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I just spilled my drink everywhere."
But yeah,
She probably thought you
So
just
that'd be
peed on
really-
yourself.
Yeah.
but yeah, guys definitely size up each other's wieners.
I don't think I've ever been in the bathroom and been like, I wonder how big that guy's penis is. Never once crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Well, you won't.
No,
I mean,
me neither.
I think that's only a real problem if you use a urinal. If you go into a stall, it's just you. You don't have to worry about that.
Sometimes little kids crawl underneath them, though. You've seen videos.
I've had that happen to me.
See? You'd kick them right
I've
in the
had
head.
that happen to me where like a toddler just crawled under my door looking for his mom.
My brain stopped working one time where I was probably like 12 years old, and I went to use the restroom, and I went to go to this stall at the church we went to at the time, and I really wanted to go in there. Well, it was locked, but I was just like, oh, there can't be anybody in here. And I literally stuck my little fingers right there and slid because it was a sliding lock.
What? If there was enough room for you to get your fingers in, there was enough room for you to see in there.
No, that's the thing. Like I told you, my brain just stopped working. And I just, because I went to push it open, and I literally, my head was like, there can't be anybody in here. No way. And I just took my little 2 fingers and just slid. Like there.
And then what happened?
Yeah, you remember, you know this guy I walked in on. Last name is a farm animal.
Oh,
Oink.
yeah, I got you.
Oh.
Which one? The older one or the younger one?
Younger one.
Oh, that one was a lunatic.
Yeah.
He would have probably tried to choke you.
Yeah. He, I think his exact response was, "Hey, what are you doing?"
I mean, that's a valid response in that situation.
Yes. Oh God, just think. He's sitting there and he sees your fingers sticking.
Well, he didn't say anything. Like I had opened the door.
He's probably like trying not to freak out. Like, what is he doing? No way is he doing
I
this.
was
There's
quiet
no way
about
he's
it.
doing
I
this
just
right now.
imagine you behind that he can't see, and you're like,
Yeah, and so when he, when the night was over, he eyeballed me pretty hard a couple of times.
I saw that guy choke people multiple times.
Yeah.
He was a lunatic.
Yeah.
You're lucky you didn't die.
This is such a good story. Oh my gosh. Why were you so stupid?
I have had, so this wasn't bathroom related, but one time when I was in elementary school, in fifth grade, I remember it. I had to make up a quiz or a test or something, and everyone else was working on other stuff, and it was just me, and I was doing it, and I was like, I don't know the answer to this. And so I was like, let's pull out my book. And I just opened the book. I was like, oh, there it is. And my teacher walked over, and she said, what are you doing? And I was like, I didn't have an answer because it just clicked. And it was like, I don't know. And but she knew that I wasn't like a cheater, but like she had to like take the whole thing away and just like grade it as it was. And I was just like, I don't know why I thought all of a sudden I could just do that. So I'm not quite to where you were.
But you understand.
I do
Your
understand.
brain
Your brain
stops.
just
It was
shuts
around
off.
the same age, too.
Yeah.
Your brain shuts off.
Maybe that's where it all triggered, and then we just can't pee anymore from there. So going back to Anastasia almost passing out, she doesn't, but then they lose real bad.
And then she falls in the water, and then she comes out of the water and almost passes out again.
Yeah, and that TJ says, well, I guess you shouldn't smoke cigarettes and not eat.
One of the most infamous TJ burns of all time.
I mean, it's true. If you know you're going to be competing in something physical,
Yeah.
you gotta have calories.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
smoking will take your wind from you.
That's not the last time he's called out people for smoking.
I know.
He called out Marie one time, right?
He definitely called out Maddie.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
more recent then.
I think the final. He called her out in the final.
Of War of the Worlds?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't remember. I remember she like gassed out in that final.
Yeah.
Yeah, he called out Marie one time. I don't remember. It may have been like Battle of the Seasons or something like that.
He's like, you probably shouldn't smoke.
Yeah. I mean, he's pretty vocal about it.
He hates cigarettes.
Well, I mean,
I do too.
But it's just like if you know you're going to be in like something like endurance based, like that's got to take your like wind from
yeah.
you.
Well,
It does.
Can I voice my gripe?
About
I griped about this the other day about vaping.
yeah.
Can I?
Okay.
Can I voice that gripe?
I mean, you're probably going to get some people upset at
That's
you.
fine. I've talked about 3 types of women on here. I can talk about this.
Hey, I thought I was number 3.
Did I say you
He
weren't?
didn't say otherwise. That is a very weird way to take what he just said.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand this weird movement. There are some beautiful, 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 beautiful girls out there. Bruno Mars said it best when he said there are beautiful girls all over the world.
I wanted you to say a different song.
Which one?
Just any
Okay.
one that wasn't that one.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Bruno Mars savant, but anyway, beautiful girls. I do not understand this weird movement where all the hot girls have to vape. It is the weirdest thing. I think, because I put vaping right in line with smoking. It's just gross.
It gives you popcorn lung.
It's gross. It just is. It's my opinion. You can think little of me for having that opinion. That's fine. I think it's gross, and I don't understand it. I don't understand this weird movement. I can't tell you, like, even on, like, my social media, I can't tell you how many pretty girls I follow that will post, some picture, they're flaunting their stuff, right? And just right there in the palm of their hand, they got their vape pen, and they carry it like
Maybe
it's an asthma inhaler.
Maybe they're just carrying
an
around
accessory.
USB,
An accessory.
USB
It's-
drives everywhere.
It's goofy.
They do look like
They're like,
USB
I got to
drives.
get my stuff on my computer later.
It's
Yeah,
goofy.
just in case I need to print something off, I got it with me.
It's goofy. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but I think it's goofy.
No, I get that. My whole life, I have always been very anti-smoking because smoking killed my grandfather. I watched him go through cancer 3 times, and I lived with my grandparents for a little while right around the time that my grandfather died. Like when he got really, really sick, I moved in and lived with them for a while until about 3 months after he passed. And I watched what it did to him and how awful it was. And so smoking has always been my number one deal breaker. Like, I'm so anti-smoking forever.
I was not going to get as deep as Han, but relatable. Yeah. So
Hashtag relatable.
If TJ can get, upset and annoyed and call out people for smoking cigarettes, I can do it for vaping. Michael Jordan gift. Throw that in there.
Stop it. Get some help.
The secret stuff. Maybe that's what vaping is. His secret stuff.
Fine.
Well, even MTV has like very serious anti-smoking commercials.
Well, in new seasons, they very strategically try to cut around people smoking,
so as not to be seen as advertising it.
Yeah, like they. It's very rare if they'll show it in someone's hand. It's like the camera crew know not to get that now, and then they also only keep things in when people are out there smoking if it's like very integral to like something else that happens in the rest of the episode. If like someone's plotting to like, hey, I'm going to throw this person in elimination. Well, speaking of smoking, Jordyn and Sarah flirting.
Well,
things are heating up.
She thinks Jordyn's an underdog and thinks that is, quote, so sexy. And Jordyn thinks that Sarah is the type of girl you marry, but also that he's not ready for that.
Proven with what happened with him and Tori.
God.
That was a low hit.
It's true.
It's true, though. And then they hook up in the same hallway that CT and Anastasia hook up in. And then that's
to which I asked Zach, is this the only hallway in the house?
I think it's just secluded from everyone else, and I don't know if they knew there was a camera up there. We used to get that a lot in old seasons, old like security cam footage of people hooking up and stuff. They don't do that as much these days.
Now we just have Fessy kissing
in a bunk
just
bed.
the one kiss though.
So yeah, that's it for episode.
Not even
2.
any tongue either.
Did you ask him?
No, there just wasn't. You could see it.
Okay. Well, speaking of that, episode 3 starts out with a bang where Marlon and Derek hook up right away, and Derek was like, I didn't know he played for my team. And then he's like, I didn't know if he was out or not. And so I took him aside.
He wanted to be respectful. And that is so...
Well, I don't think anyone in the house knew that Marlon was bisexual because that became the big talking point throughout the rest of the episode.
Yeah. I thought it was really respectful that Derek was being respectful of that. He's like, I
don't think anybody's ever said Derek's not a nice guy.
No, he's a super nice guy. I like Derek.
What season was he on Real World?
Not sure, but the watchability rating's very low on him.
I agree. I mean,
very low.
He did about 3 or 4 seasons.
Him and Rob are one of the most unwatchable duos.
They beat Tyree and
that's fine. But you know what? Tyree and Dunbar's watchability is way up on them.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I thought it was weird that everybody in the house was so desperate to find out Marlon's sexuality. That
I don't think it was. I think it was just no one had thought about it, and then like people started talking, and then they're like, "Oh, is he gay?" And then they're like, "Well, no, but also he likes guys and so like it's just again it's 2013. This is not the same as where we're at now, and so people."
They went to Jordyn instead of going to Marlon.
But that's because I don't know if that was disrespectful at the time. Like, clearly what Knight did was 100% disrespectful.
Yes, and even everybody in the house recognized that. I
think when everyone was talking to Jordyn, it's like, you're his partner. You just came off the Real World with him.
You guys live together.
Yeah, like, is this a thing? And then Jordyn was kind of like, what? Yes. And
because Marlon had... like openly admitted to it on their real world season to being bi, and so like it is out and in the open.
Well, I think it was such like a maybe a shock on the front end because he is such like a strong masculine presence, and you don't like.
You've had a lot of people typecast on MTV as the gay guy or whatever for years, and Marlon does not fit any of that.
He does.
Frank doesn't
they called
either.
him an alpha male.
Yeah, and I think it was just more than anything, people were just surprised. I mean, honestly, Tyler Duckworth was one of the first few ones that I remember because as a kid, we grew up in the South, pretty sheltered, small town. What we saw as far as like gay representation was
very
the very like
stereotypical.
stereotypical type thing. And so when you see people like Tyler Duckworth and things like that, it completely starts changing your like perspective on things. And so like Marlon, I think, is just another representation of that even more, is that I think people just didn't, like, it just hadn't even crossed their minds.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, somebody said this. Is that really a thing?
Yeah.
And
Well, Zach admitted to having the worst gaydar ever.
Not you.
yeah, no,
No, Zach Nichols.
Yeah. Again, he apparently had some pretty not good things to say in regards to all that on his Real World season, which I haven't watched, but I know enough about it.
He seemed to take this news pretty well. Like, it didn't seem to like affect his.
Well, I mean, him and Frank are really close. I think that's helped.
Yeah, he and Frank
lot.
are really close, and he said. Who was it that he said were his buddies?
Preston and Knight.
Yeah, Preston and Knight. He's like, I really don't want Preston and Knight to go home because those are my buddies.
Yeah.
And so, like,
I would be friends with Preston. Like, not a good competitor.
I
but
can't imagine anybody not wanting to be friends with Preston.
Knight might not want to be
Well,
friends
Knight
with
sucks.
him. It's yeah. From all that, we get into. I don't know if Wes was the one who came up with it, but everyone's out there and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna play a game where you draw a name and then you act out that person." And I was like, "Well, that's gonna just be bad at some point. No matter what it is, something's gonna happen that is not good." I couldn't even remember what it was at the time. And then clearly, it was Leroy got Marlon. He's just like, "I don't know Marlon very well. I don't think I can do that." And Wes was like, "I'll do it, whatever." And then Knight's like, no, guys, I got this. And it just was like a lead balloon. And it's just like one of those situations where you just don't know how to react because you're like,
Did that really just
what
happen?
I think I saw, was that what he meant to do? And then it just blows up into a big thing. And
Well, Marlon is sitting there on the couch, like the whole house is there watching.
literally the whole house.
And Knight goes, "That was Marlon. That's Marlon."
He's like, "You get it? Wink, wink."
And then,
like, yeah,
like,
he's very subtle.
everybody else is silent, kind of like the fish out of water, open mouth, like,
They're
"Are
dead?
you serious?" And then Marlon gets really upset. He jumps up, tries to fight Knight.
Again, very physical again.
Yeah, and so like it went from 0 to 100 pretty quick. Like Marlon was ready to.
And Knight was
pinch
being
his head
an
off.
idiot. Like
He was, and like he even said that he thought it was really funny, and I was like, I didn't get anything funny out of that.
it was not like Wes was like, "Well, that's not exactly how I was going to do that." And it's just Knight, like, I do like some things. I liked watching him. Again, like I said, he gets in the middle of things. It's a very double-edged sword with him a lot of times because he also puts his foot in his mouth very fast. I mean, I know some people love him, some people hate him, but I was always kind of like one of the ones is like, I like him in certain areas, and then other times it's just like, whew, wow, let's dial that back in a little bit. Speaking of that, Anissa just goes to talk to Marlon, kind of telling her similar situation. She's like, "Hey, I'm kind of same situation, like, bisexuality, whatever. It's a very complicated subject."
She can sympathize with him. She
Well,
knows.
Trishelle.
Yeah, so like Anissa is like crying and being vulnerable and honest with Marlon.
They don't know each other very well.
Yeah, and she's trying to comfort him, like, "Hey, you and I are in the same pool."
It's just like, hey, I've been there. Like, I can help you. Whatever. I've been through that.
Yeah,
and then you got Trishelle in the back, like, she's black and Jewish.
Well,
and you're like,
Well, she was saying that Anissa is super
I
annoying
know.
because she just talks about nothing, and I was like, this is the opposite of
she's-
talking about nothing.
She says she's everything. She's this and this and this and this, and it's just like, okay.
Well, and so what kickstarted it was Leave It to Jimmy.
Oh,
Right.
did you? I don't even remember.
I didn't even.
Yeah,
notice
Jimmy was the one that's how it all started.
Oh, she went up to Anissa.
Which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
very
yeah.
fitting
Yeah.
for Jimmy.
It's still the same MO on Twitter.
But nonetheless, at one, like, I had made a note that Trishelle's just really dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To which, I think it was like 10 seconds later, because I made a note of it again, Anissa said, she may not be a racist, but she's stupid.
Yeah. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, that describes a lot of people I know.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people around me that I don't think in their, like, really in their heart they're racist, but man, they are really stupid. And, like, that was like, what a good quote, Anissa, because it's just like out of everything, like Trishelle just gets upset that she's like, Anissa's too many different things, and it's like, why does this affect you at all?
Is this the first instance of beef between Anissa and Trishelle?
I don't think so, because she's like, you're always been Trishelle and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're rival. Well, actually, they're not partnered on this one.
They're
So
not.
I think they've both been around for a long time at this point. I do think it's interesting that we just watched All Stars, that they were able to kind of squash all this, because it doesn't seem like they've talked since this. But the weird thing was, the sticking point wasn't even about the situation at hand, which was her talking to Marlon about bisexuality or whatever. It was, she was just like, yeah, but you said you're black and Jewish, and it's like, okay, Trishelle. And even Anissa's like, so? And what? And then Trishelle doesn't even have any reason.
Yeah, she
She's like, well, I'm just saying, what are you?
She's like, you're just saying so many things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the definition of you just wanted something to mouth off about.
Oh, and then she's like, she's a stripper.
Yeah, like Trishelle did not like that Anissa was even speaking, and did not like that she couldn't be the center of attention. So she had to go off about something that she, one, didn't know anything about, and then two, couldn't even back it up.
She's just like throwing Hail Marys and hoping somebody catches it. Like, yeah, she is a stripper.
Just to get somebody on her side.
And she's like, yeah, I know. Now agree with me about the other stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, why? Why are you? And then she like charges at her, and then Anissa just like elbows her right in the face.
Didn't she like have her hair in her fist?
Yeah, she had her hair. Security jumped in, and she's like, I just got her hair.
She's like, I'm not going to hit her.
I'm not going to hit her. She's just holding her down.
Anissa's not dumb enough to hit her. Like, she knows.
But she's smart enough to be able to get her hands on her without getting kicked off.
Yeah. Well, obviously, this has been a very physical season.
She got her pretty good with that.
Like, why did this? And then because of this, it ultimately leads to Trishelle quitting. But it's like, this had nothing to do with Trishelle. Had nothing to do with Jimmy jumping in and saying Trishelle saying things.
It was about Marlon.
But it wasn't even like Anissa and Marlon like, guys, we're going to hold a diversity training. Like, they're just talking to each other off in the corner.
Yeah.
By themselves.
They're having a bonding moment between the two of them.
And then Trishelle gets like, you're too many things, Anissa. I need you to pick one. And it's just like, and then she at one point says she's Armenian, and it's like, maybe, I don't know Anissa's background. Maybe she is Armenian. But, like, she's like, oh, and she's a stripper. And it's just like, why?
If anybody ever wondered why Trishelle is one of the people I dislike the most on the planet, here's your example.
This was her introduction to Trishelle years ago. And so I 100% get it.
Like, there's few people in the world that I, like, actively dislike, and Trishelle is one of those, like, 3 to 5 people.
This episode is why I picked Trishelle on the fantasy team for All Stars, because like, oh, she's gonna say something stupid and get in a fight again.
Yeah, but didn't she quit?
Yeah, she left. She got sent home really early. I don't even remember.
But she also did start a fight.
Yeah, with Katie, one of her best friends at the time.
Yeah.
So consistency, good job. And so Trishelle wakes up, tells her room that she's gonna quit. So Emily goes to tell Sarah, which I think is completely different than what Jimmy jumping in. Emily is trying to say, hey, Sarah, your partner's about to leave.
Yeah.
And
very different.
Then Trishelle just quits. She just leaves, and she knocks her suitcase down the stairs and gets in a car, and then just...
She's such a train wreck.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Was this was after Battle of the Seasons, right? Yeah, because season's 2012.
Yeah. Because Zach was a winner at this point. He'd already won.
And that was their first season.
Yeah.
And so, so like...
Frank.
Trishelle, like... Yeah. She'd been back in this environment. Like, why? It's not like she's been gone for 10 years or something at this point. Anyway, she quits. And then that night...
TJ comes to the house and gathers everybody up.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, Naomi had a family emergency. Trishelle just quit, and so unfortunately, Sarah, you have to go too.
I don't agree with this.
So
Sarah did not get in a fight with Trishelle and make Trishelle leave.
But Sarah also didn't do anything when Vinny ripped Mandy's top off in X's or whatever. It just happens sometimes, and I wonder because so I was trying to think through that rationally when we were watching this, because I was like, it isn't fair to Sarah because she didn't do anything.
And Cook just got a replacement partner maybe days ago.
But here's the thing: they said Cook was going to get a new partner. They probably had a handful of people that were on standby, and then they finally got Kari out there because they didn't even announce who her partner was until Kari got there. And then, so I'm wondering, because Trishelle looked like she was packing first thing in the morning, right? Because Emily was still in bed, and she gets out. So that's got to be, let's be conservative, before lunch, 10 a.m., something like that. TJ has his meeting at night, so I wouldn't be surprised if production was on the phone trying to see if someone else could get to Thailand and then them still be able to be on their production schedule to say, hey, we got to do this daily tomorrow. We got to do this one, a week from now. And so, I mean, if you don't have someone that's willing and, like, ready to go right then, like, I don't know if you could have got someone through customs and out, like, that fast. And so I don't know for sure, but I would speculate that production
just couldn't get
someone else out there in time.
It hurt me to watch, and I knew it happened because, I mean, like I keep telling you.
It's not her fault.
I keep telling you, I think I've seen like half of this season. Mm-hmm. I don't know how it ends, but I think because I've seen this much for sure.
I think you've seen about the first 5 episodes or so.
It's so sucky that Cook's partner leaves, so Cook gets a new partner. Sarah's partner leaves. Sarah gets... I know it's different, but again... Cook had nothing to do with Naomi's situation. Yeah. Sarah had nothing to do with Trishelle being sucky and a horrible person.
I'm not saying it sucks for Sarah for sure, but just because of how much time was in between the announcement versus when Trishelle left, I think probably production tried, because they also know that they sent Sarah home like 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And obviously Sarah's a good competitor, and they, she didn't have any beef with anybody. It's probably more so a logistics thing than a punishment at this point. And
it just sucks to me.
They'd already used one of their alternates. I don't know how many alternates they had on standby, because you don't expect 2 people to either quit or have a family emergency in the first 3 episodes. Especially, 2 females. So you probably had 1 guy and 1 girl on standby, I would assume. I don't know. It sucks for Sarah. I mean, it is, but you got.
She knew it was coming too.
Yeah, I mean, she's already had it with Vinny. She broke down a lot more in that one.
It makes you wonder, like, how much maybe higher you could reasonably rank her on the great females of all time.
Because she had 2 seasons that she got sent home before even like halfway,
and she's a good competitor. She could have gotten really far.
You even think her very first season was the Ruins, right? Makes the final.
Her and Kellyanne, I think, were the last 2.
Mm-hmm.
She comes back. Was it X's 2 with Jordyn?
Mm-hmm.
Did they win?
They won X's 2.
Yeah. And then she makes finals in Rivals 3 with Bananas. So
then he takes the money,
right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. You could argue she makes the finals every season she's on.
Yeah.
She had a legit chance to. I mean, I think Trishelle and Vinny were going to weigh her down in the grand scheme of things.
I don't disagree with you, but I think she was that good.
Those are not ideal partners by any means.
I think she was that good, though.
I don't think it was going to be like a Landon and Carly situation where she could prop up Vinny or Trishelle, through whatever. But wasn't she partnered with Katelin at one point?
That's right.
That's a bad pairing.
That's the one season that she went home.
Rivals 1?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Because she had to carry her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was on Fresh Meat 2. She had Kenny. Oh, no, that's not right. This is completely wrong. Who was she with on Fresh Meat 2? I don't even know. It's not the wiki on some of these are all over the place now. Cutthroat made the final.
Yep.
And then was throwing up all over. So her and Abram both.
Yeah.
Rivals, again, that was probably the worst partner pairing. Then,
Nobody was making a final with Katelin.
No. Then Battle of the
No way.
Battle of the Exes was right after that with
Vinny sent home.
That's an awful back-to-back. And then Battle of the Seasons, which her Real World season's not very good. Although they did make it decent. But I mean, it was like what, Chet and JD and Devin. That's not a great team.
Yeah.
And then Rivals 2, which is this one, and then you had Battle of the Exes 2, where her and Jordyn, and then Rivals 3, and then that's it. So she went out really high.
Yeah.
I mean, the 2 that she won, even if you don't count the Bananas one at winning, she did win that.
I count it as a win.
Yeah. Bananas and Jordyn are really, really great partners.
Yeah. 2
of the best that have ever done it. 2 of the top 10, I'd say, guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Vinny sucks and Trishelle sucks. So I don't know how many she would ultimately have, but it's not. It sucks that she didn't have a choice. Like she was just sent home. So we get to the daily mind over splatter. It's basically a ropes course. You know, the Preston and Knight and CT and Wes have to go first, and they have a 30-second penalty. You have a 10-minute time limit, but they only get 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And again, they have to go first for losing. Not a lot happened during this. I mean, Paula and Emily win again for the third time.
Is this going to be a recurring theme?
I mean, Emily is just really good.
She's
Paula's holding her own.
Yeah, she is. She always has a really good attitude about doing the dailies. She's like, I'm up for anything. I'll do it.
Paula's
and then,
just psyched to be here.
Yeah. And she's excited to have such a good partner. I think that also kind of gives her a little extra confidence.
You know what? Paula's not the best competitor, but she's very self-aware of what she is and what she brings to this show.
What she's capable of.
And when she's not good at things. And like, I would rather have her a million times than some of these new people that are just no personality.
Yes.
I like Paula. And then Emily, of course, is just a machine.
She's a mighty Hulk machine.
Yep.
You know, her and Jake got that in common.
Yes.
But we did get Frank and Banana's first win on this daily. And
just barely, too, though.
Yeah, but they didn't give us any time on that, like as far as like how close it was. We get to deliberation, and basically the girls think, hey, most of us have already said Rob and Derek. Why rock the boat? Vote them in again. And I don't disagree with that.
I don't disagree with it, but it does kind of suck. But Derek and Rob are the majority vote only by like one vote.
Well, there's only 6 teams, so they got 3. They got 3 votes.
And then one was a burn vote.
Yeah, because Leroy and Ty voted
Teresa and
Jasmine last time, so we returned the favorite.
Yeah.
To like straight up burn vote. And who was the other one? Marlon and Jordyn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's who
rookies.
Cara and Cook voted for, because Cara was like, I don't want to vote for Rob and Derek because they just went into elimination.
Yeah, which she wasn't here for, which is a weird reasoning. But
yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, it's just, it makes sense. Rob and Derek are not a great team. They don't really have any strong alliances. They've already gone in. It's an easy pick. The rookies are the other easy pick. So they go in. I don't know if you guys noticed, Emily and Paula, when they start the vote, they're holding the Johnny Bananas bobblehead. Did you see that?
I noticed.
He brings it with him to a handful of these challenges. So we get into the elimination. It's called Snapper. I don't know if they've done this outside of this season other than on the Champs Versus. Have they done it on any other seasons? I don't remember it any other time except when Wes had to do it in Champs Versus Pros or whatever.
It's a fun elimination, though. It's one that like we could do in our backyard.
They did it in Rivals. They did a variation of it in Rivals 3 where it was soccer, but they were blindfolded. Wes and Nani.
Yeah, Wes and Nani. I remember that.
They went home on that one. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah. I remember that now. I haven't watched Rivals 3 since it aired. But yeah, I do remember that. That's a weird pairing also for Rivals. But yeah, anyway, basically you just have some sort of a stick that breaks if you hit it with enough momentum, but it's not fragile enough that when you swing it, it breaks. It has to hit something. And basically, there's 3 rounds, and if one team doesn't win the first 2 rounds, then they pick their best player to go into the 3rd round. And I mean, the matchups made sense. Like, you had Rob versus Preston, both the 2 tallest guys, and Rob wins round 1. It honestly looked like Knight was just kind of more watching than anything. And in the 2nd round, it was Knight versus Derek, and Knight and Preston worked out their NOLA call.
They came up with code words for that round.
Code word. I mean, it was just NOLA.
A code word, which it seemed to help.
Yeah, I mean, it worked for that round because I mean, they're from the real world New Orleans.
I think what worked most is he just got low to the ground.
Yeah,
like that's the strategy.
And they hadn't done that in the first round.
Yeah,
and so he got low, and then he was able to win. And then the 2nd round, the other team knew when they said NOLA that he was going to go down low. But it ultimately didn't matter because it was Knight versus Rob, and Knight won, even though Rob's definitely got the reach on him because he's so much longer and taller. Knight won. That's. I don't know how many elimination rounds Knight has won. This has got to be one of the few, I would assume.
I think I'm not caught up on Knight's
canon.
Yeah.
So they win. Rob and Derek go home. For sure, I think this is the last of Rob. I would assume this was the last time Derek was on the show. I don't know that for sure, but I am friends with Derek on Facebook.
Is he the one that's the dolphin trainer?
That's JD.
JD, okay.
They were on Battle of Seasons.
I think that's why I got them mixed up.
And
Knight apologized to Marlon afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He did, but he's also like,
It was probably distasteful. That was,
yeah.
And then he was like, I wanted to apologize, but also I know what I can say to piss him off now.
Yeah, it was just
there you go. There's that 2-edged sword right there. And then you end the episode with Marlon and Nany hooking up. It's just
Nany doesn't care.
Full circle from where it started the last or at the beginning of the episode. Yeah, it's I don't think anything ever comes of the Marlon and Nany thing.
No.
Obviously we haven't watched ahead at this point. I still love this season overall. It's a really good cast. It's a really good setting.
Everybody's crazy.
There are a lot of crazy people in this cast, but a good level of crazy. Not like where you're scared for someone. Because I would say Anastasia's crazy, but going back to that fight,
well,
no
CT literally called her Looney Tunes.
Yeah, Looney Tunes is a great show.
I think she's misunderstood.
You do.
I do.
I mean, she'd be an interesting one to talk to because no one can find her anymore.
Okay, Anastasia or Shailene?
Anastasia.
Pick one.
It's Anastasia. It's Anastasia, and it's not even close.
Okay, then you are not allowed to advocate for Shailene's birthday bash.
Why can't Shailene be number 2?
No.
There has to be a number 1.
Let me give you a little bit of backstory on some Shailene because it's been documented that she was on here and had 1,100 followers on Instagram. Not really sure why she made it on here. She was cut out of most of the season she was on War of the Worlds. Mm-hmm. And we found out just from Instagram photos that they didn't even talk about her birthday happening at the club night that they had. Mm-hmm. And so that's why it's become Shailene's birthday bash and all that.
We only found out she had a birthday during it because she had photos.
Is that not what I just said? I said we saw on Instagram she had pictures up.
Oh, I didn't. I guess I just didn't hear that part.
So yeah, that happened. So I found out that her season of The Bachelor Canada was on Paramount Plus or HBO Max or something, and I knew she got kicked off after the first episode, and I went and watched it, and she probably had a total of 30 seconds of screen time in the entire show.
How do you nail that down? How do you, as production, say
that's the one?
All right. We
got to bring her on.
We need to see about her.
It's got to be she knew a production casting or something because literally they had people. I think every other person on that first episode of The Bachelor had more screen time than her, and then at the end of the night he sent 4 or 6 people home, and she was one of them. And she probably said 2 whole sentences on that whole episode.
Wow.
And they had all these big long intros about people, and they're like, yeah, I ride dirt bikes and blah, 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 blah. And then when Shailene comes in, it's just a montage of her greeting and then going in the door. Like, she doesn't even get to talk. They didn't even start talking to him.
I have to watch this.
It's awful. Like, I don't know how she got cast on. I don't know how anyone could see that and be like, she's going to be good on the challenge.
Kind of bizarre.
I've got to watch this
And that was
episode.
her only other credit.
And I've never watched The Bachelor.
That's a documentary I'd watch.
The one episode of The Bachelor Canada.
It would be
how Shailene made it to MTV.
It would be over in like 3 minutes.
Yeah. It'd be like a mini docuseries.
Well, let's get into our superlatives for this episode. Well, for both episodes, we'll do it as a whole. So who smashed some heads?
Anissa smashed Trichelle's head so
With her
hard,
elbow.
so hard she quit.
And did not come back to the challenge after this.
Right.
I gotta give it to Anastasia because she's the only one to ever win a fight against CT.
That is true. That's a technicality. I'll give it to Cook because she could do something Jake and I couldn't do, which is pee in the water in front of everybody.
Or just pee in front of people. Pee with an audience.
Sure. Yeah.
Not necessarily in water.
I guess I'm not an exhibitionist. So who got their head smashed?
Trishelle.
Well, I mean, yours are symbiotic.
I know, but like the smashed heads was Anissa confronting Trishelle and being stupid. Head smash. Trishelle smashed her own head when she opened her mouth in the first place, and then she just kept digging her own grave.
Yeah, it was very dumb.
I'm gonna give it to Rob and Derek for having very low watchability ratings.
They did beat.
No, whatever. I don't even remember who they beat.
Tyree and Dunbar.
Oh yeah.
I gotta give it to Anastasia. Got her head smashed. Just because TJ is like, well, I guess that's what you get for smoking cigarettes and not eating.
That's who smashed some heads. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I could have gone with that. I could have gone with that for sure. So yeah, again, Rivals 2, it's a fun season. If you're listening to this and you're not part of our Patreon, we are doing recaps. Not recaps, they're actually live watch-alongs for Survivor Season 28, which is the Philippines season. And we all love that so far. There has been some big twists and turns that we did not see coming in that season. And so if that sounds like something you're into, patreon.com/SmashingHitsPodcast. We do have shirts coming very soon. New shirts, 4 new shirt designs. Some of which you'll understand when you see them. If you haven't gone, go look at our Twitter and Instagram and things like that. And speaking of that, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I would like to very soon get over 1,000 followers on Twitter. We're not far off. We're at like 875 or 877 or something like that. We always, every time we put out a new episode, we get new followers.
New followers.
Whoever is our 1,000th follower, I will send $20 and a selfie.
That's the equivalent of $40.
That is.
What if it's Anastasia's our 1,000th follower?
Oh God, I'd love nothing more.
You might just die right there and go to heaven.
Yeah.
Like he went out as he lived.
I'd send her a belfie.
What's that now? Is that a butt selfie?
I don't. Why did you look and point at me? I don't know what.
It's a butt selfie. Right? You not seen those things? They just stick their butts out.
So
it's not a nudie picture.
Is it called a belfie?
It's called a belfie. That's a thing,
I've
right?
never heard that in my life.
So it's where it's still a full body shot, but you're just showing your butt. It's not just your butt where no other context, right? You're not answering my question.
A belfie, a photograph that one is taken of one's own buttocks, typically one taken with a smartphone or webcam and shared via social media. The quote here is that she had posted a racy belfie online.
Okay, but you didn't answer my question.
What?
Is it a full body shot with your face and everything, or is it just your butt?
It's like this pose right here.
You look like Austin Powers.
Yeah,
like this.
Oh, well, that's not at all what you just post like.
But there's not a set pose. Yeah, that's
that.
The one, right?
That's similar.
Like the mirror pic.
I mean, I didn't know that had its own words.
I didn't either. I learned something new today.
Is that a trend you follow?
It is not.
Belfies.
This is what pose you just did.
Yeah, but he put his like finger up near his lips.
That's like you're like.
It's like I got a secret.
Ooh.
I do have a
Well,
secret.
guys, it's sure been something.
Something, that's for sure.
Have a good night, everyone.